Hello, hello. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Edgar, Nick DeLuca. Good to see some familiar faces on this cold Monday night. Good news, everybody. I have launched my Patreon. You guys are the first ones to hear about it. That's it. You're a part of the action now. Yeah. So I launched it, and there you go. It's in the link is in the video. I know you. I mean, I don't anyone watching this feel pressured to support me on Patreon, but just FYI, it is now functioning, and I hope to get some support so I can, make my comics with y'all hanging out. Yes, I did. I finally did that. I'm really excited about it, guys. It's launched. It's available. Anybody can go, I think, right now. If anybody checks it out during the stream and there's any issue, just let me know. I think it should be good to go. I've already got some pieces uploaded, some layered files, time lapses, PSD files for anybody who wants the layers, and plus a warm welcome, which I've written myself. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes, because between that and the YouTube channel, there's a lot of new stuff I'm doing over here. How are you guys doing? How you been, Nick? I don't think I've seen you in a little while. Which ones you working on? Yeah, you should post it, Nick. But you can also DM me on Discord on mine. Oh, that's another thing. I have to set up my Discord. I have to set up a full Discord channel, kind of like Dan has. I gotta figure out how to do that. Oh, that's cool, Edgar. You're working on some original characters. That's cool. Oh, thanks, man. Willustrator. Have you been on my streams before? It's cool to meet you, man. Cool. Thanks, Nick. It's pretty interesting how many people are drawing at this time of night. I guess because so many people are getting out of work. Because it feels like it happens a lot now where I start a stream and people are like, hey, what's up? I'm also drawing right now. I guess this is like when people get out of work and school, you know, just chill. Oh man, hail over there to Venezuela. Well, what kind of stuff are you working on? I'm gonna call you Will. Is that all right? Yeah, so the head pose you're talking about, that's actually, it's going to be two different, it's like two different phases of the same image. It's going to be almost like, not quite animation, but it's two panels basically showing the character looking forward, and then the next panel he's turning around. I'm superimposing them onto the same image because I'm going to use it as like it's going to be like a single post. It's not even really for the comic per se. It's going to be for the announcement of my Patreon. I'm actually going to use it as like a way of showing, like, you know, something cool with this character because he's pretty popular right now. So it's not just announcing the Patreon. I'm also using this to set, you know, an announcement for book 2, for Black Marrow 2 in 2025. It's going to be a view of him from behind facing forward, and then he stops, he turns, and then the third panel is him just facing the viewer with his trademark grin. You see? So here's the demonstration. That's 1. Here, I'll zoom in. That's 1. That's 2. And then 3 is going to be this guy. It's going to be a totally different angle on him. Yes, the answer is yes, Edgar. I do own grins. Every time you grinned, you actually have to pay me $5. I have grins copyrighted under New York state law. Who else? Hey, how you do? First of all, guy, hello. How are you, man? Who are you? You subscribed to Dave? Who else? Oh, aside from Dave. Okay, I was like someone else from Dave. Sounds like we all birthed from the head of Dave, like Zeus, with with what's her face? His daughter. I feel like I've referenced that this week already. How you doing, guy? Sorry to be yawning. It's good to see you, man. Edgar, if you grinned, I expect to see it in the mail. The money that you owe me for that grin. I think we should be playing the Bloodborne soundtrack. What do you guys think? Or maybe, oh, we can stay here for a while. I like this music. It's pretty relaxing. It's putting me at ease for sure. It's good to see you too, man. Yeah, it's going pretty good, man. This is like the first stream where I'm announcing the Patreon is up. And I don't know. That's that's it. I was setting that up today, and it took a little bit of time to get it nice and polished. I might change a few things. How's your work been, man? What are you working on right now, guy? Are you still doing line art? I'm interested in seeing your most recent piece was great, man. Everybody had a really strong reaction to it. I really like what you're doing with your line work. It's cool to see you just jump in and try something totally different. It's like you're doing that around the same time that I started doing paintings. It's like we both were like reaching into each other's lunch boxes. Oh, now it's that game. The, the Procreate game where you try to find the gap in your lasso. Is that it? Did I do it? Yes, okay. Oh, the physical ones. Oh, so the line art that you sent me, was that done on, was that real pen and ink on paper, or was that digital? Like, how did you do that? Was it analog first before you colored it digitally? This happens to me every time, guys. This happens. I start playing this relaxing ambient music, and it literally makes me yawn, like live on streams. I kind of roofie myself with ambience. I just like I get groggy. It's so freaking weird. It's like I'm a guy who can't sleep on a plane, so he takes like a bunch of Benadryl or something. I know what you're gonna say, Edgar. It's because I'm old. It's probably true. Everybody knows once you get past the age of 35, you just fall asleep randomly. Once it's after 6 p.m., it's lights out, baby. The early evening is the Evander Holyfield for people that are over 35. You wouldn't even know Evander Holyfield, would you? Would you, young people? Kids. You kids out there. He was a great fighter who knocked people out. Oh, nice. You printed it out? Yeah, please send me the dirty sketch. I'm sorry to have hit the camera. It's hard to avoid sometimes. Kyle, what's up, man? How you doing, man? How is everybody? I'm doing well, man. I was just telling everybody at the beginning of the stream that the link to my now functioning Patreon is... It's there. It's in the video description. I am now a Patreon user. So this is my coming out stream. Coming out of the Patreon closet. Although not really, because it wasn't a secret. What's a better way to put it? It's my big fancy halftime performance. I did not watch the Super Bowl at all, by the way. I totally just didn't even... Who here watched it? Who in my American audience attended the Super Bowl? His chin looks too squared. I think he's got to look more narrow. Or his eyes need to be a little more mysterious and a little more spooky. Just a little bit. Because right now he looks a little too friendly. Black Marrow's got to have a little bit of danger always. Where it's like, you kind of feel like... You can trust his intentions, but never quite when. He'll do something surprising. You got to convey that with his look. You know, I think his grin needs to have a little bit of tooth in there. That looks really stupid. Thundercat Cowboy. That's a really funny way of putting it. No, he's actually supposed to be more of a werewolf. But you're not the first person who looks at him and sees a cat instead. I think it's because the Thundercats have kind of shaped people's perception of cat people, and he does kind of look like one of them in terms of his features. But yeah, he's supposed to be more of like a classic Wolfman / cowboy character. There you go. Now he's looking a little more dangerous. A little more edgy. I need to bring those eyebrows down. Something people got to remember. So when you're doing a character in 3/4 turn, this is something really interesting that I still have to remind myself. the way that the face is, the eyeballs. So this one, people make this mistake all the time. This eye is looking directly at us, and so is this one. But because he's turned, the iris is going to be closer to the edge, because it's turning more along the sphere to be looking in the same direction as this one. The sphere rotation is a little more intense. So instead of, so you don't put the iris in the same place of the eyeball that you would on this eye, where it's almost in the center here. Here it's like all the way at the edge because it's turning, you see. That's the kind of thing that, like, people will just get in a habit of doing it wrong for years and they'll just, let it be. Wow, this is like, I don't know why this is it's coming out so much more clear than some of the other images I've done. You know what's interesting though, is funny, is I've been working on those sketch covers, which those of you who follow me, you've seen. I've been posting those, and working analog, just doing these like quick pen and ink sketches with like Copic markers. It's been interesting to do that and then come back to digital, because when you practice with that, I find that my digital work gets a little boost. Like, it's like, oh wow, it's like so much easier to do it this way. And so because I was working on pen and ink, where it takes a little more, you can't zoom in, so you got to be really careful what you're doing, and as a result, drawing with digital again feels like, as they would say in baseball, you're swinging at grapefruits. I think they say that. Now I'm doing my big old spot blacking. Thanks, Kyle. My ascent to the top of the Patreon charts. I don't think I've watched one in 20 years, but trust me, tons of Canadians watch it. So, oh, I forgot you're Canadian. That's right. Man, you guys must be having an interesting time up there. That's what it is. That's why Kyle is such a nice dude, is because he's Canadian. Those are the rules. Yeah, I'm curious, Kyle. What do you think of that? So, like, I'm sure many of you in the chat know Kyle or have met him in previous streams. Just a painfully sweet person who I very much like, who I think everybody likes. And, he doesn't have to be a Canadian to be that nice, but there is that stereotype of Canadians being, like, just very kind-hearted people. And, not doormats. Like, I never really got that impression. It's never been, like, people of, like not out of weakness, just out of the fact that they're just nice, they're just good, kind. And I'm wondering, do you find it to be true, Kyle? Do you find it to be total nonsense? Like, in your experience, are the people of your country, is it a part of the culture to just be like a little more polite, a little more generous with your time than it would be for, some other cultures? Broken Blade, what's up, man? Oh, and I just want to let everybody know who's showing up right now. So three points of conversation. My Patreon, my new Patreon, which has launched today, is in the video description. I have a link for anybody who's interested in joining and supporting me there and getting access to all my art and, exclusive streams and my Discord, all that blah, blah, blah. That's great. If you want to, it's there. I want to reiterate, as I said in the beginning, that do not feel pressured to do it. I know that not everybody has disposable income right now, or just ever. Some people just don't, they're not in a position to do that. So don't feel like you have to. And the third point is that I will be bringing it up a lot. It's kind of like when I was promoting Black Marrow. I'm a promoter. Like I'm gonna promote my Patreon and my YouTube channel and my comics and everything a lot of the time. It does not mean that anybody watching should feel like guilted or pressured into financially doing anything. Like just don't worry. Only do that stuff if you really want to, and if you've got $5 a month to put into something you enjoy. Because right now I'm starting with a single tier at $5, and we'll grow from there depending on what you guys want, or whatever the patrons want, I should say. But all of you guys who are watching, like even just hanging out on my YouTube channel is enough. It's enough for me to thank you, because it just helps me out as an artist, and also I find it enriching and fun. So bless you. But I just want you guys to know that it's like, just because I'm bringing up my Patreon all the time doesn't mean that I want anybody to feel like, oh, I gotta do something because I'm always on his streams and I'm talking to him and he's gonna see I haven't joined, and it's like, I'm not like that. I don't care. I just want people to do what makes them happy. And the whole thing with the Patreon is that it's something it's going to help me, to do more comics and to do more things that I love. And that's why it's there. That's why it's up. And those of you who do join the Patreon, I'm going to want to hear from you about like things that you would want, Right now, I'm just like, the whole thing is I'm using it to provide access to the work that I'm doing in real time, like all that fun stuff. So you can see comics as they're getting made and illustrations, and I'm going to do some breakdowns of time lapse, yada yada. You get it. You get it. You get it. Getting a little better at drawing cowboy hats, but it's still, I'm not very confident, because the shape of these things is it's so unusual. You got to do stuff to make it a wild shape, otherwise it reads as like a fedora, which is not what I want. You see, like right there, it's just not what I want for him. Ugh. Oh, Kyle has answered my question. He says, I think I try to be nice. I try to be a kind person to the people I like, and absolutely devastating and ruthless with those who have wronged me. Well, that's just good sense, honestly. That's just... I'm going to adjust the camera so I can look directly at you. That's just good sense. Yeah, absolutely be cruel. Be cruel and ruthless to those who have wronged you. That's like... I mean... That's exactly the energy I want out of my friends. That's exactly the energy I want out of my friends, Kyle. Let's see. You said something else. I think there might be a slightly more generous disposition. Okay. So Kyle also says, I think there might be a slightly more generous disposition towards strangers, but people here are just as much of assholes as anywhere else. I'm sure that's true. I don't know. I don't know who Guy is talking to when he says Papa Ryan made me do so. I swear, Mommy. I really hope I'm just witnessing some kinks playing out in the chat. I mean, clearly Guy and I know each other very well if he's able to use my dominatrix name. That's for my other job, for which there is no Patreon. Papa Ryan has an OnlyFans. I mean, someone's got to pay for all that leather. Come on. KM, how you doing? Mrs. Carter, you grace us with your presence. Hey, everybody. She's posting chapter 1 of her novella tonight. I'm so excited. Please let everybody know where you're posting it and drop a link, KM. Edgar is eating leftover pizza in bed right now. Edgar, you're going to love college. You seem to be very prepared for it. This is a big part of college academia, is eating pizza in bed. If you add a viewing of Lethal Weapon onto all that, then oof, you got yourself a stew. Oh man, I love Lethal Weapon. I think I want to watch that tonight. Oh, but my fiance won't want to watch it. We've been having a really good time lately. We've been watching the original. Well, I guess it is going to be needed specificity soon because they're remaking it. But the Harry Potter movies. We started with the Sorcerer's Stone, obviously, last week. And we finished Chamber of Secrets last night. And Chamber of Secrets is not my favorite. It's pretty whack, actually. I think I understand why. It was before they switched directors to the new. But in A Prisoner of Azkaban, they get that great director who does a beautiful movie. It's so much more stylish and well directed. And the problem, I think it's Chris Columbus, who does the first two Harry Potter movies. And the first one, I think it works pretty well. It's very charming. I think the second movie, the reason I didn't like it so much is because it has a lot of the same kind of like super corny, bad kind of little kid acting and dialogue that's like not bad, but it has a certain camp to it, which in my opinion doesn't work quite as well because the kids are getting older. So the kids are at this awkward age where they're not quite teenagers, but they're definitely not like little kids anymore. So like whenever Malfoy's like, listen here, Potter, and he like it's so over the top and a little silly. Nicholas, so Chamber of Secrets is your favorite of the movies or the books? Because I felt a little awkward about it the other night. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was enjoying it. Like, I enjoy that world in general, and I think the story of Chamber of Secrets, like the things that happen in it, are pretty badass. They're pretty cool. But something about the kids in that movie, the acting is not as good as like when you get to like the next one, Prisoner of Azkaban. It feels like all of the kids, I think because they had a really good director, they were like able to get a better performance out of them. But if it's your favorite, if that's your favorite Harry Potter movie, I respect that. I don't think it's objectively bad. It's just something about it. Last night, I was like getting very annoyed with the kid who plays Malfoy because he's just like, he's also, it's just funny because he's like, you see him now as an adult. He's like a very handsome young man. He's like a really good looking guy. He looks like a movie star. But in that movie, his little ugly face is just because he's always scowling at people. We were just like, who would have thought when he grew up he'd be such a stud? He's in that World War II movie about pilots. I think it's World War II. Came out last year. I think it's called A Silent War or something. It looked good. People apparently said it was great. He's looking pretty good, I think, so far. Oh, I love this moment when you flip it and it doesn't look terrible. I do think his neck is looking a little long though. I'm gonna bring this down. There you go. That's looking a little better. Hey, what's up, Johnny? You're at work? Oh, right, you work nights quite a bit. Broken Blade says, always, sadly, I've tried to super glue and everything. What are you trying to super glue? Oh my god, I missed so many. I missed some things in the chat. Ryan, when the hot tub stream's coming out. When are the hot tub stream? I don't know if you guys want to see that. The hot tub streams. So we can do hot tub streams because technically it's, you know, it's not porn. But my shoulder hair floating in like the hot tub water, where you get to see it like bubble, like my Harvey Keitel body, matted with fur. That's going to push somebody's button. I know someone's going to be into that. You're like, hey, I want to see what this guy looks like if he was cooking in an Italian kitchen. Just slowly boiling. Now I'm switching up the music. I've had enough. This is what I want. Alright, well here, I'm going to give you some real deal stuff right now, Edgar. People act like they don't like hairy guys. But I can tell you that women do like hairy guys. This is a little secret. Little secret that society keeps from young men. In my experience, the hairy shoulders, hairy chests, generally speaking, I think it's been a plus. It's been very rare that I met a woman that didn't like it. I think movies try to make you think that like you gotta deal with all that body hair. You gotta be a dolphin. Women don't want you unless you're a dolphin. And it's like, nah, bruh. In fact, I would even argue a lot of women don't even care. They don't even care about it one way or the other, but in my experience has been mostly positive. Or if they didn't like it, it wasn't such a big deal that it prevented them from going out with me. So some of that also is like, you know, whatever. Like there's other factors, I'm sure. But for anyone watching, any young men who are insecure because they're so hairy, don't worry. Don't worry. There are women in the chat. Give me an H for the women in the chat for hair. Confirm how much you like hair, and guys. I really hope my potential YouTube sponsors are watching this. And they're like, this is the guy. We want to monetize this guy right away. Absolutely. Don't hesitate. You see what he said about body hair? That's a gift of entertainment. You can't buy that. You can't learn it. Okay, so here we got the 3 steps. Ready, guys? This is going to be my background layer. Whoops. And then layer 1, which is him turning, right? That's first phase. Up, he's looking over the shoulder. And then 3 turns. And we're going to use that in 3 steps. That's how I'm going to do my book 2 announcement. KM says it would be preferable if he was hairier than me. Yeah, I understand that. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to be doing the colors and everything for the background on its own layer. Guy says, but to be honest, there's people who like, whose likes and dislikes a lot of different things. If someone rejects you due to you being hairy, that's a win. You'll find someone who digs it. Yeah, I think that's true. I've had discussions with guys I know about it where, like, you know, in college, because I was like, you know, back in the early 2000s, a lot of guys were like shaving their chests and their backs and stuff, and I never did that, or at least I didn't after a certain age. I didn't care about that much management. And I was like, yeah, you don't gotta worry about it. Girls don't care. And they were like, well, you're like tall. That's a whole other thing. Like you're existing in a different world, you know, because if you're over 6 feet, like maybe that trumps this stuff. And I was like, you guys gotta think less about that, because it's more about confidence and just like being like, you know, just be masculine and likable, or not even masculine, be feminine, whatever. Just be what you are, and that confidence is like, I know it's a cliche, but it's true. Like that confidence is enough to win people over in general. You know, this is coming up because somebody actually asked me about it in a DM. I don't know why they were asking me for relationship advice. It never seems, I guess because I have a fiance that I mentioned, so it's like I'm in a nice steady relationship, you know, and if you're young and you're having trouble, they want to know. But yeah, just confidence. Just own whatever you are, you know, own it. I'm thinking maybe something smoother than what I'm doing right now. Let's try this again. you're like, wait, well, Ryan, what if you're hairless because all of your body hair was singed off while saving a family from a burning building? And it's like, well, I think that trumps any body composition whatsoever. You're just automatically the coolest person. Because I knew you were thinking that. I can tell you guys were going to ask me about that. That's why you guys come to my streams, is to hear about those things. Those thoughts. You want to hear hypotheticals such as that. Doesn't this music kind of make you feel like it could be from the 90s Mortal Kombat movie? I don't know, maybe the moon should just be like pretty chill as it is. I'm looking at the chat now. KM says this music feels like the techno from the first Matrix film. Yeah, I actually just compared it to the Mortal Kombat movie from the 90s, which is even earlier on. So clearly, KM and I have dated ourselves as children of the 90s. I like that as I was talking about the body hair thing, I can see the viewers going down. That's really funny. Sorry. Hey, listen, it was on my mind. Someone asked me about it. It came up in a conversation. It was organic, I promise. I'll just leave it like that for now, because he's going to be mostly covering it anyways. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll remove the moon. We'll see. We'll see. Yes, dated as in calendar. We didn't date ourselves. Like, we didn't both take ourselves out to lobster dinners the same weekend. But I actually have done that. I have taken myself out to dinner. But yes, when I say dated ourselves, I mean we revealed that we grew up in a cooler decade, for sure. The 90s, you know, I'm wondering, KM, how do you reflect on the 90s? Because I think of it as like, it's like postmodernism kind of punching up or punching down, whatever, against the like, kind of what I would say is a leftover vibe from the 80s, which is like super machismo and like action stuff, but then you still see postmodernism and like self-reflection creeping in, you know? So you end up with a nice balance. Like one of my favorite movies ever, I was just watching it yesterday, was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman, which is like very, classic action adventure movie that's, but because it's like, in the 90s, there's a little bit of a different energy coming in, where it feels a little more sensitive, than it would have been if it had been made in the 80s, a little more romantic. I don't know. Not that those movies didn't have those things, it's just KM, did you link your novella in the chat? Please do. Of where we can read it. KM says the 90s were nihilistic and also nostalgic. How that was possible, I don't know. The weirdos ruled. It's true. I don't know, Edgar. I probably wouldn't make out with a clone of myself. I do like me, but I'm not really my type in that way. Ironically, it is the shoulder hair that just puts me off. I just don't. It's not for me. It's for me to have, never to. Edgar, you're gonna have random couple swap phones in the street. Yeah, you're gonna do like guy on the street interviews. That never gets old. Just keep doing it. Never stop. Guys, I'm going to give you an update on the cat, if anybody wants an update on the cat that me and my fiance have been taking care of. That my fiance really rescued while I acted as an assisting nurse. The cat is doing great. He is healthy again. He's putting on weight. He's getting a little bigger, thankfully, because he was definitely thin. He's taking his medication. He is now our house cat. He's ours, no longer a porch cat. He's my first cat that I've ever really had, and I find him very cute and very mysterious and hilarious. And yeah, he's kind of like a moody roommate with an adorable little face. And he's letting me pet him now, and when I pet him, he purrs, he goes, and he growls. He looks deep into my eyes. That's something I'm not used to, is how cats make so much eye contact. Because dogs, which I've had my whole life, they're more like all over the place. Cats will look deep in your eyes and be like, "You're gonna die one day." Did you know that? Did you know you're gonna die one day? Meanwhile, you're like, because you don't know what the hell he's thinking. But I wonder when he looks at me if he's seeing something. If he's like, "Yeah, your days are numbered, bro." I don't know. Cats, they do have a mystical quality. They're just like, I get why ancient people look. I'm understanding now why like so many cultures look at cats and they're like, yeah, there's something. They're like connected to something ancient and mysterious and powerful, and like in that movie Constantine, where he's like, oh, he's got the cats have 1 foot in, 1 foot out all the time. Like they're always just somewhat connected to the other side of the witchy world. Oh yeah, KM, did I not tell you about the cat? I feel like I should have told you about the cat. If I didn't, KM, I'm sorry, because you would have really appreciated that whole story. It's been quite the preoccupation lately for the both of us. It's funny, color context is so funny because the gray reads as like yellow because everything else is bluish. Yeah, I agree. Cats, they know. He knows everything. He's just pretending that he doesn't because he enjoys getting fancy feast. Oh no, I did not tell the story of the cat in this session. I think I explained the cat previously. I'm sorry if this is reading dark. I'm realizing now the stream, it does look kind of dark. It's a very dark image, so I should probably up the brightness. Edgar, I can't spoil anything for you, but that is definitely going to happen. I'm trying to build up to it in the story in a way that's, logical. But yes, it's absolutely the next thing. I'm building up to it at a very particular place. Okay, good. KM, have you been doing more streams? I caught the first two. I'm curious if you're still doing more of them. I know you are going to do more. I just mean, have I missed any? So someone asked me in my previous stream, do I go dark to light or light to dark? And the answer this time is dark to light. Because that's kind of what this particular image calls for, is to do more of like a classic comic thing. Or not classic, because I guess it's a more modern digital method, but it's essentially, yeah, going dark colors and building up your brights. It's a very specific request, Edgar. Highly specific. My streams are Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Central. Tomorrow is number 2. Oh, okay. So this is like you actually. Well, then you, KM, you have accomplished what I have not, in that you have an actual schedule instead of just starting a stream whenever you get the itch, or just being like, oh, I have an hour, when you don't have an hour. Because I don't really have an hour, but I do it anyway. Very self-destructive. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to end it here because I think dinner's ready. I have a sense that the stew, she's making a beef stew tonight, and I have a withering sensory a waft that it's ready. So I'm going to end it here. And I love you guys. I'll do another one tomorrow, and it'll be longer, maybe, I don't know, or it'll be for sure. It's true, I don't work for the state. I work. I almost said a really bad pun. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let the shoulder hair talk be my worst part of the evening. I'm not going to make puns. I will go help her out. Thanks, Edgar. All right, guys. Love you. Good night. God bless you. Sleep well. Bye, KM. Bye, chat. Edgar, Nick, thank you, guys. Anyone catching this stream, just so you guys know, anyone who missed the beginning, my Patreon link is there in the description of the stream. So if anybody wants to join my Patreon and get access to the drawings, and the high-res illustrations and the layered files, and more access to me, just more of me in your life. But seriously, like, it would support me, and I would be able to do more of my comics and stuff. No pressure, but if anybody wants to, and they want access to the Discord that I'm going to be setting up and all that stuff, consider joining the Patreon. It's $5 a month. That's the first tier that I have right now, but maybe I'll add more as time goes on, depending on what you guys want. And that's it. Have a good night.